Alright guys, I am in my once back to Eden garden. Now this is nothing more than compost. And it's all the wood chips are composted. So the weeds are growing fabulous in here. I'm not going to keep putting wood chips down every year because it's just way too expensive. And I have, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 inches of compost now in all these areas. I got way too much. If I had to do the back to Eden gardening over again, knowing what I know now, what I would have done is, since I have bad soil to begin with, I would have laid out some compost on the original ground that was here, laid out an inch or two of compost, spread a bunch of horse manure or some type of manure all on the ground, and then I would have tilled that in as deep as I can get it. So in other words, what I should have done is amended the soil first here. After the soil was all amended, then I could have put in about 4 inches of wood chips. And then I could have moved the wood chips out of the way and planted into the ground that I had already amended. But back a few years ago, you know, everybody jumped the bandwagon on back to Eden gardening. And what happened to me, the first year not much grew anyway, because it was just wood chips on top of nasty dirt to begin with. The second year, things sprouted, it started to grow, and then it just stopped growing. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So I had a friend of mine say that it looks like everything is lacking nitrogen. So I took and got a nitrogen test done, and it was 0. It showed nothing, no nitrogen. Bugs. But no nitrogen. So after I went and got some fertilized everything, and everything started growing. It was great. So what I didn't know then was wood chips, as they're breaking down, usually in the second year, as they're breaking down, it pulls nitrogen. It uses nitrogen for the process. So nothing grew. Now it's nothing more than just weeds growing out of here now, because everything's composted. What you're originally supposed to do is put more wood chips on top after they've broken down. If you're going to start a back to Eden garden, I would suggest amending your soil first. Get it all prepared, get it all nice and rich, put the nutrients in there, your compost, your manure, whatever it takes, and get it down, get those stuff tilled in deep, okay? Then put your wood chips on top, about 4 inches or so, and push the wood chips out of the way, and you can plant right in there. The wood chips is great to hold the moisture in the soil. Alright, so I have 3 different varieties of sweet potatoes. I have the purple sweet potato. It's purple all the way through, skin and all. I have a red skin potato, sweet potato, that is white flesh inside. Then I have your more traditional orange sweet potato. I only have like 3 or 4 of each. Now, there's 2 ways of planting potatoes. So let me show you those 2 ways. Alright guys, this is one of my potatoes. This is my purple one. When they start sprouting like this, these are called slips. But when these plants start growing up and you start getting leaves on them and stuff, you can pull these right out of here and put them in dirt. They usually will have roots on them, but by the time they get that tall, you can take them out of there, take them out of the potato, and put them in the dirt, and they will start growing new roots. The plant will start growing and vining, and when the vines of the sweet potato touch the ground, make contact with the ground, they will start producing roots there and start doing the same process over. Like they just keep growing on the ground and keep producing more roots, more tubers, more potatoes, and they just pretty soon your whole garden will be full of sweet potatoes, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But that's one way to plant your potatoes, is let them all grow out like that, and take the slips off and plant those in. Now, I've heard not to plant the whole potato on the ground, you won't get any sweet potatoes. I have to disagree, because I have a friend of mine that does it. He planted one potato in the ground and it just took over his whole garden. Okay, so I don't feel like waiting around for these slips to grow taller so I can break them off and put them in the ground, you know. So I'll just plant this whole thing into the ground. Now, it doesn't have to be that deep. All we have to do is cover this up a little bit, and the potato knows what to do. These will start growing. They'll start putting out roots. And like I said, these vines, once these vines start going and then they touch the ground, right where they touch, roots will start coming out there, and you'll start growing more potatoes. Now, it's probably a good idea when it first starts growing like that, is when the vine does touch the ground, kind of push it in the ground and cover it up there. It'll start growing roots, and what it's doing is just keep spreading out like that. So that's the way we're going to plant it. Alrighty, so I'm going to plant my purple ones here, and my red ones in the middle, and my orange ones near the end there. So let's do that now. Alright, so like I said, we want to keep these plants sticking up out of the ground. So we're going to bury, this one only has it near the top here. So what we're going to do is plant this in the ground, and we're going to keep the parts that are growing up above the ground, like that. They know what to do. And I'm going to do the same thing with this guy here. It seems to be just near the top. So, put that in like that. We'll cover that up. Now this one here is going from the top here and the side. We're going to lay this one sideways more. We'll do that. We're going to lay it more on its side. And it should do it. And just keep the plant sticking up out of the dirt. Oops. Okay. Alright guys, so I'm going to finish up here. Don't be afraid to plant sweet potatoes. Like I said, you can grow them from the slips, or just plant the whole potato in there. Either way you want to plant them, whole or slips, that's totally up to you, whatever works best for you. I've never had a problem with growing the whole potato. My friend Eric at Country Living Experience YouTube channel, he, what was it, 2 years ago now maybe? He planted one sweet potato in his garden just to see how to do, kind of experiment. It took over his entire garden, okay? And it does like I told you, these slips grow into vines, the vine hits the ground, puts more roots, and it just keeps doing that over and over, and it spreads everywhere. You still get a lot of sweet potatoes. So like I said, you know, whatever way you want to do it, whatever works best for you, and whatever's more convenient for you. And remember, the leaves of the sweet potatoes are very edible. They're like spinach. In fact, to me, they taste better than spinach. I like heating up some olive oil and then saute some garlic in there. Throw your potato leaves in there. A little bit of water, just a tad. And put a lid over it, let it cook down. Man, it's out of this world. Alright guys, so I'm going to finish up here. I would appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and when you subscribe, please hit the notification bell, and that will alert you to a new video, and share this video. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.